All of the food we eat and much of the clothing we wear comes from plants and animals that are raised on farms. Farms are different in type, in size, and even in name.
Welcome to Barn Talk. What happens at the barn stays in the barn, but not today. We're going to let it all out for you guys. Today is going to be a really great guest episode. We got some folks coming down from Minnesota that it was kind of an impromptu podcast scheduled guest. A good friend. Most of you, if you know farmers in the farm community, you'll probably know who these people are. They got a great operation. They got a great YouTube channel. They're a part of a great YouTube channel online, showing what they're doing on their operation every day. And I had a great conversation with their oldest son, and he said that, hey, my parents are going to be in the area, and we love your podcast. We'd love to have. I can't make it down there right now, but hey, they're in your area, so if you want to have them on, give them a shot. And I said, well, hell yeah, let's do it. So we're kind of just whipping this one out off the seat of our, I don't know what you say. We're
flying by the seat of our pants.
Flying by the seat of our pants. Yep, that's what we're doing. And so it's going to be a really great episode. I'm excited to dive into it and hear all the wisdom. I'm going to be surrounded by a lot of wise, seasoned folks out here. So I'm going to probably do a lot of listening in today's episode and chime in where I can, but
gosh,
I'm just going to soak it all in.
We should have episodes like this more often.
I know. It'd probably make everybody happier listening or watching too.
Shut up and listen.
Yep. People like when I do that. So this will be a good episode for those folks. But before we get into it, if you guys get any value from the show, please, please, please share it out with the people that you know. If you can get value in a lot of different ways, if you laughed, if you related to us on something, if you learned something, all that we ask is you share it. It's kind of the ticket to admission to watch or listen to the podcast. And we found it's the best way to grow podcasts organically. So we appreciate all of you that do that and help us out with sharing the show. Another thing you can do is leave a review on Spotify or Apple. The more that you guys do that, the more it makes our show credible, so we can get more guests to come on the show, like today's guests, great people to tell their story. And last thing you can do to help us out here at Barn Talk is support our direct-to-consumer meat business, Farmer Grade, farmergrade.com. We got Wagyu, beef, pork, chicken, all on the site. Pork that we raise here on our farm, and you can always use code BARNTALK to save 10% off your order. Just got a new fresh batch of pork and a fresh batch of Wagyu on the site. So gearing up for Q4. If you own a business or you want to give somebody a holiday gift, get thinking about it now, because holiday season's approaching faster than you think, and it'll be here before you know it. But yeah, what are you thinking today? Are you pumped?
I'm looking forward to this because it's if I'm right, I think that our guests today are about my vintage, and I'm looking forward to getting a little perspective on, really, I just want them to say to me everything that I throw out there. Yep, that's exactly right.
Nice.
I don't know if that'll happen or not, but yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Okay.
So,
Without further ado, let's get into it. Well, we're live. So Doug and Amy Larson, welcome to Barn Talk.
Well, hello.
We appreciate you guys making the trip. What brings you down to Southeast Iowa today? What are you guys up to?
I'll let Amy answer that because she's the one that is friends with.
We are headed to Perry, Missouri to visit a friend. Kayla's Chronicles of Kayla. She has a YouTube.
Yep.
And their son has cancer, age 14. And so we're going to meet him and support them and cheer him on. We've been through a lot of tough stuff too.
Yep.
And understand that just seeing people and getting a hug and
Yep.
give it a little bit of cheery and a little bit of crying and support them. So that's the main reason for the trip. We're finding a lot of cool places to stop in Iowa on
Yeah.
our way. Friends that we're meeting with, and now today we get to meet new friends. So
Yeah,
yay.
we sidetracked you.
Yeah,
You
it's
thought you're getting pulled off course along the way. So we appreciate you making time for us. I'm glad that it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I talk to Chet all the time. He's like, I got to get down there. I'm like, dude, whenever you want to make the trip, we're here for you. But he's like, well, Duggo's got me beat. He's going to beat me down there. I said, hey, that's fine. We'll make it work.
Yeah, so when you get home, talk it up for all it's worth. Like, man, you really missed out
You did
there.
miss
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been together? When did you guys meet?
Oh.
When did this all kick off?
Douglas.
We were, 17?
Yeah.
We were in the same grade in high school, so.
High school
So how
sweethearts?
did we start dating?
Well, there was, I'll just say I was pretty nervous to ask her face to face. So
Yep.
I stuffed a rose in her locker and asked her for a date,
Look at that.
and here we are.
Will you go out with me this weekend? Doug Larson.
There was
not-
a couple of Dougs in school,
You had
so
to
I
be
didn't want no
specific.
mistake.
Yeah, that would have been a major letdown.
one red rose, and we went to Crocodile Dundee, the very first movie
Nice. Nice.
in Wilmer, which was 1 hour drive, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been dating ever since. So that was 1986 was our first date, November 22nd.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you remember that date, Doug?
I knew it was in November. but, yeah, 22nd is what?
The first
The
date.
first date, and then the 27th of August is our anniversary.
Good.
There
And
you
when's
go.
my birthday?
That is also the 29th?
Yes.
Wow.
Holy
I was
smokes.
like, I was starting to get nervous because I was like,
I was sweating.
I was like, this is not a good place to get those questions wrong. I'm sorry that it turned into an interrogation there,
man.
but you got extra points for pulling all them
Yeah.
off.
So our first date was on the 22nd, and then on my birthday, which was a week later, he sent me a half a dozen roses.
Well, look at that.
So I thought he was romantic at that point. I'm not so sure anymore.
Flowers have gone up.
They have
Yeah,
gone up
they
a
have
lot.
gone
They have
up a
gone
little
up a
bit.
lot. That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Yep.
So growing up, were you close to where you started farming? I mean, what's the
Yeah. Me and my two brothers, mom and dad, lived on the same farmyard as grandpa and grandma.
okay?
So I think the folks got married in 66, 67.
Yep.
And I was born in 68. And Dad bought a trailer house, brand new trailer house, 12 foot by 65 foot. Pulled it up on the yard there. I don't know how they chose where to put it, but it was a little bit away from grandma's house. And
Yep.
so every time it stormed or something, we'd evacuate the trailer house and run for the farmhouse because that thing was 2 by 2 walls, and that was something.
Yeah, but you didn't know any better, so it was all
No,
right.
all right. It was average to us.
Yep. So by the time you got out of high school, or when you were in high school, growing up, what did you think? Like, did you always think that I'm going to farm, that I'm going to fit in the operation, or
Yeah, I think so. That was I couldn't get out of school quick enough. I mean,
Yep.
I was in FFA, and I think we got work release at 2:00 or something like that. So
Yep.
I got to drive most of the time in later years there, and I had dust in the back end of the car leaving town at 2:00 as fast as I could. So
Yeah. So did you know what you were getting yourself into?
No, this is not what I knew would happen. No. I'm a town girl, as he
Yeah.
affectionately calls me. And I did have actually an ex-boyfriend tell me, he's a farmer. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, well.
You did a good sales job, Doug.
He did. He did. And by that, I mean, it's just a completely different culture.
Yep.
Family culture.
Yep.
And everything revolves around farming. And And it, yeah, just took some adjusting, but here we are.
Yep, here you
Working out.
are.
Going
Amy
good.
just did a speech for a local what? But
It was a soil and water conservation district. They did a farm her evening, and I've done speaking in the past. And they asked me to speak about farming to women, about the joys and stresses. And I start my list, and I've got stresses, quite a long list.
Yep.
And I'm like, I maybe better find some joys in this. Of course, there's many, many joys in farming too. And
Yep.
yeah, I've never really talked about what it's like to be a farm wife. So that was good to evaluate for myself, and hopefully encouraged. In fact, I did have a young wife with 2 little kids saying thank you for talking about how lonely it can be.
Yep.
Yep.
So
I think that when we get done here, you need to make one more stop right at my house, and you can give your spiel to my wife Trisha, because she's lived the same thing, and we talk about that a lot. That she was a town girl, didn't know anything about farming, definitely didn't know anything about pigs, and she had 3 criteria when she was dating. She didn't want to marry somebody shorter than her. She didn't want to marry a farmer, and she didn't want to. What was the other one? Oh, blonde hair. She didn't want somebody with blonde hair. So I really knocked it out of the park. But the culture shock of that, and I think if you asked her, the other side of it is, she grew up and her dad. Everybody in her family worked I guess you'd say, a conventional job. And a lot of her memories of her parents was her dad getting off work at 4 o'clock, and then a couple of his friends stopping by the house, and then they would play cards on Friday night or whatever, and we didn't have that. When she married into our family, it's like you said, it all blends together, and it's the farm, and it really wasn't much else.
yes,
And
yes.
we're
Yes.
31 years in now, but I can tell you that there's one of us that definitely had more patience, and it wasn't me. So anyway, that's good that you're doing that.
That's exactly it. I did write that in my speech. My dad was home at 5. We had supper together, and the weekends were for our chores and togetherness. Sundays were for church, and it was pretty steady, unless Dad had meetings or something. But yeah, this whole we eat whenever kind of thing
Up
is
and down.
up
Up
it's
and
just
down.
very
Yep.
much so. Our youngest son, it was interesting over the years is how much it meant to him when we all sat at the table. And then it kind of grieved a little bit of, it's different, but not wrong, as we've learned
Yep.
from different.
not wrong, just different.
It's an occupational hazard. What I like to say is, it's like, if you we like to plan when things are gonna go wrong, and that's like obligations and vacations and outside things that you're planning to do. Those are the guaranteed times that something's gonna go wrong.
Yes.
So it's kind of how it works out. But
Mhm.
anyway,
Always something happens.
so when you two got married, did you move into the trailer?
No, the trailer was that, like I say, it was built out of 2x2, and the folks built new house in '82, and trailer house got sold to the guy that designed the new house. And I'll never forget thinking, man, this guy builds new houses. Why is he gonna live
Want
in
a
a
trailer
trailer
house.
house? But that's how that went. And we actually moved into a old farmyard that was 4 miles roughly away from the home place. And well, let's just say it had been abandoned for how many years, do you think?
Enough.
Yeah.
So the windows were nailed shut or nailed over. They had nailed sheeting over them, and the plaster ceilings were cracked and fallen down. But we got to live there for free if we kept up the yard and fixed up the house a little bit.
Yep.
And we done that for supposed to have been a short time, but that turned into
15 years with
Yep.
the mice,
yeah,
the
you
snakes, the
you name it,
salamanders,
it
the
was
bats.
in that house.
And I think it was, well, when the mice were just all the time.
Yep.
And so I would wait till like midwinter before I would, every utensil I take out of the drawer would have to be washed before using. Otherwise, I was washing everything 100 times. So I thought, okay, we've the trap line has slowed down. So I think it's safe. I'm going to clean everything, all the drawers, all the things. And then one evening, I open up a drawer and you could see the little poops in the drawer. He had just walked in the door.
And she had been already, or we had been talking about doing something different. And I walked in the door and I seen her open up that drawer and slowly closed it again. And I knew, oh boy,
There was going to be
back.
a serious conversation about where you were going to move, and it wasn't going to stay here.
That was the beginning of the real, I don't know,
Get me
negotiation.
Negotiation, yeah. I never thought I would get to that. I don't think it was an ultimatum, but it was supposed to be temporary. We're 15 years in.
You put your time in.
That's
sure.
enough now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
When the bats were scratching in the wall next
So
to our bed. I'm like,
So the fall, the mice would move back in. That's and I think you have to live on the farm to understand how that all works. But so then you battle the mice, and then I don't know, for whatever reason, the bats, they somehow were getting in the attic.
Yep.
And then down into the wall, right by our headboard of the bed, and they'd 2 a.m. start scratching away, and you'd beat on the wall. They'd quiet up for a little bit, and yeah, but it's good. I mean, it's good to. I think we appreciate what we have very much now because of what we went through. Cistern water. It had a well on the yard, but it wasn't hooked up to the house. We finally dug a line into the house and got so-called running water, but it was very hard.
cistern water.
Yeah, that's cistern
People
water.
maybe don't even know what
Well,
that is.
you got to live that one to appreciate
so,
that.
So, for us, we have cisterns for our hog buildings,
Okay.
but a lot, like the old Foursquare, we have an Airbnb, and it had a huge cistern in it, and it caught all the city water dumped into it later. But when that house was built, it caught all the rainwater off the gutters, went in the cistern, and that was the water they used.
And that's what you bathe in.
Yeah, and when you tell people that, they're just like,
It's
they're just
disgusting.
dumbfounded, like how
whatever was laying on the shingle from the birds flying over is now
that's
in
that's
your
settled to the
cistern.
bottom.
That's
what they say.
That settles
you
out.
you put the end of the pipe from the pump. So that place had a gas engine in the basement, and so they had running water when they wanted it. You'd fire up the gas engine, and it would pump water, and then But yeah, those were the days.
Yeah.
So when you were farming, when you got started farming, were you guys? I know you were in hogs. Were you in hogs all like for a long time from the start? Was it row crop and hogs? Tell us a little bit about the operation from when you were a kid to, growing up.
I grew up with the livestock on the farm. There was no farrowing house. It was just a straw barn that you had. I think we were just taking down that barn last week, and maybe the rest of it will be gone when I get back home. I don't know, but farrow to finish is what we finally got into there. And I think Dad built a Lester farrowing house and nursery in '77,
Yep.
And then when Randy and I, my brother and I, got out of high school, 88 was my first year farming, which was the big drought.
Yep.
There was pretty much nothing for a crop, 5 bushel beans, and I don't know why we even harvested stuff, but
Also, the year we got married.
yeah, got married that year, and then where was I going
The
with
hogs.
that?
I
The
think.
hogs, and yeah, Randy and I in '92, because we were working with all the dad stuff, and it's like, well, and Dad did not want us to rent land. He didn't have much for equipment, couldn't hardly get done what we had. So we thought, well, we'll just add on to the barns here.
Yeah.
So Randy and I bought or built a new 20-stall farrowing house and nursery, and then added on the finisher, and went with that till, well, '08 was our last year. So we had
That was
just
a good
gotten the
time.
barns paid for, and
Yep.
we should have been making money, and they took all the money out of the
Yep.
livestock. So
08 was a good time to decide that. So we very similar. I mean, we grew up, we had, so I'm 54, I was born in 71. We had 200 sows, farrow to finish, and that's what we did. We built our first confinement in so we built our first finisher in 72, and then we put all the sows inside in 75 and 76. And we ran up. And then when I got out of high school, I bought a place and started farrowing, and we combined all the sows. We converted everything here to farrowing and nursery, and then everything where I lived was finishing. And we had 400 sows. We thought we had the world by the tail. And then after 95, we realized that we were the tail. And then in 98 was when we were like, I don't think this is going to work. And that's when we got out, was in 98. And I think that story, if that didn't convince you, then 2008, I was on the better end of it by 2008. I was selling hog buildings by then. I was working for a contractor that built hog buildings, but 08 was a very thin year. We didn't sell much that year. I remember that. So
yeah, and I shouldn't say, I don't exactly, I think maybe it was 98 when Randy and I said that was it. We're done bleeding the pork stuff. But Dad and Mom, because Mom took care of the farrowing and nursery all the time. Without her, that would have been an even worse story with us trying to do that. But Dad said, well, if there's a barn on the yard, it's going to have hogs in it.
Yep.
And we said, okay, if you want to raise them for nothing, go ahead. But we still got the help with them. So we were back to square one as far as that goes.
Yep. But when you think about your childhood and early on, I mean, the pigs were
oh yeah,
that's what paid the bills, because good year, bad year, you ground the corn.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what we always said.
Not how you got your Murata.
Yeah, that's Dad would let us each have I think we had 100 head of feeder pigs, and that was we got free ground feed for them and all that, but we worked for free then. And we bought cars and gas for in high school with that. I always tell people it maybe sounds braggish or whatever, but back then it was never if you were going to make money on hogs, it was just how much.
Yep.
And that was good stuff. I wish it would be that way again, but it was so good that's maybe why we're in the shape we're in.
Well, it could be, yeah. But I think that was the end. You were getting to the ends of the times where, like, the only determining factor as to how much money you wanted to make with raising pigs was how much work you wanted to put in, because it wasn't nearly as automated as it is today, although it was a lot better when we put them inside. But my dad tells a story when he and my mother redid the house that I live in now. They moved in there the year I was born. They moved in there in 71, but they started redoing it in 69. It's actually my great grandparents' house. But I asked him, you know, when I was trying to redo a house, buy a house, redo a house and all that, I'm like, how the heck did you do this? And he's like, well, he goes, when Gander started, the carpenter that was going to do it, when he started, he goes, I just asked Gander, I said, so how much money you think you're going to need every month to get this done? And Gander said, well, I think it's going to take this much. And, you know, it's going to take us like 9 months to do it. So it's probably going to be about this month. So he just held back that many gilts the year before they started. And he had pigs out in the field, and he finished them out in, 10 by 20s. And he's like, I just knew that I had to have this many pigs to load up to take to Oscar Mayer to pay Gander every month. And we just farrowed that many more pigs, and that's how we did it. And I was
smart.
like, it doesn't work like that
Doesn't
today.
anymore.
Right. Yeah, we had everything. All of our feeders were out on dirt
Yep.
lot with a little building that they could go in at nighttime or get out of the sun. But yeah, I'll never forget the smell of the dirt lot. You have to smell that one after a rain, and then it dries out and gets the big cloud of dust going. That's got a very unique smell.
Yep, absolutely. You're 100% right. I remember very little of that because I was pretty young when we put them inside. I do remember ringing sows. I do remember running them through the chute and ringing sows, and that's a sound that you don't forget either. So the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So were you as you grew up, was grain farming more your thing? Did you find more interest in grain farming and wanted to be in that, or you didn't really mind? It was like
Didn't know the difference from one to the other. Dad and Grandpa never had much. They had the home 80, a quarter north, maybe 2 miles, and that was it till I was maybe 9th, 10th grade or something like that. And then Dad ended up buying 120 acres south of us, 5 miles. That's all we ever had. And I've 88, a farmer east of the farm, a couple miles, had some heart issues, so he retired. And I rented it the first year. Randy was still in high school. So I farmed half the farm. Then the next year, then Randy graduated, and then we rented the rest of it. And from there, I think it stalled out for quite a few years. And I don't know, we just slowly added a little bit every year, and we're where we're at now. It was all kind of just luck.
Yeah.
When we started building grain bins, the guys that we build with, they always said, well, what's the future look like? I just laughed and I said, well, I don't know. I'm just going to try to stay in business.
Yeah.
And it's too bad a guy doesn't have an idea. You might have a hope, but you don't know, because the bin site, our bin site is typical of everybody. The bins next to the grain leg are the smallest, and you're now augering or transferring all the corn to the farthest, biggest bin. It's just the way it is. So
So when you started renting ground, were you crop renting it or cash renting it?
The first few years was share crop. That was a 50-50 deal. Right or wrong, I don't know it. But now Chet still does some sharecropping with some.
That's a rarity anymore, though.
Yeah, and it's kind of a hassle, but because we're set up to dry our own corn, and when you got to haul it to the elevator, they get you pretty good to do that. But it's working, so I'd rather have the cash rent thing. That's in the good years, we always usually give a little bonus depending on how good it is and stuff, but nothing in our contracts saying how much. It's just kind of, and everybody's very happy with that.
And in a poor year, they say, I'll keep some, right?
There has been a couple of times, because we did do the bonus for several years in a row. And then we just felt, well, the markets are going to stay here, it looks like. So we bumped up the cash rent, and then it got to be pretty ugly there a couple, 3 years. So we did renegotiate a little bit. And
Yep.
yeah, there's give and take. And I always tell my landlords, if I'll give it if I can get it.
Yep.
But you know how that, if you start bleeding the turnip, you're gonna
Yeah,
not
that's right.
survive.
What about the 80s farm crisis? What did that look like for your family? What was that a hard time for the farm? I mean, it was hard for a lot of people, but
Yeah, I would say that they had so little that it did not. They
Yep.
didn't have no debt, very little debt.
Yep.
They built a new house.
Mhm.
I think he said that it was 20%, 21% interest.
Yep.
For whatever reason, well, you know how that is. If you don't have a lot of debt,
Mhm.
that's just like a cancer.
Yep.
And I think everybody nowadays, we all have debt. So
Yeah.
it's,
And we talked about that a couple weeks ago. I feel like if you were raising livestock, like if you were raising hogs through the 80s and you didn't have debt, the hog market ran a little bit contrary to the grain markets because a lot of guys that had livestock weathered the 80s a lot better than people that were just
Right.
grain farming. That really helped. I know it helped us a lot.
Mhm.
So,
when you were young and you were talking about it, when guys would ask you like, "What's the future look like?" Well, the future's now, I guess, a little bit. But like when you were at that time, what'd you think the future would look like? Does it look like
yeah,
is your reality what you thought it'd be
oh,
now?
it's way past.
Yeah.
Never ever would have.
Yeah, did you ever
what we
think
have.
you'd be farming on the scale that we are all
No.
farming today?
No, I looking back, and I really struggled with that a lot. Is when you set your level of what you hope for and you
Yep.
hit it, and it's almost like, okay, now what? Do we keep
Yeah.
going, or
Yep.
are you supposed to be happy with what you have? But then as we always met those goals, it seemed like there was a little bit less meat on the bone, so you
Mhm.
needed a little bit more to
Yep.
stay going. But yeah, no, we are very blessed for where we're at now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make it sound like we got a gravy train, but we just we're responsible to take care of more than I ever thought we'd have to.
Yeah. Well, I
dream
think we're
about.
all, I think as a society, not just in ag, but everywhere, unless you have the perspective of having to plan for what rodent infestation is coming next, like unless you've got that as a reference point, I don't think most of us, and even if you've been through that, we get very conditioned to all the things that we take for granted that we never even dreamed that we would have as an opportunity, or the way we live, the lifestyles we live now. My parents and my grandparents would have never even, they would have felt guilty. Actually, my grandparents would have felt guilty spending the money on the basic things that we think are a necessity.
Well, I think I'd get my back end chewed for spending some of the stuff that we've spent on our residents or stuff like that. Everybody was happy to mow the weeds kind of on the lawn.
Yep.
And now we think we want to have a nice lawn
Yeah.
that has to be mowed 3-4 times
Yeah.
or every 3-4 days. And
Oh my gosh, it's been a if you don't like mowing your yard, this is a bad
This has
year.
been a
for
bad
you.
year.
It is a bad year.
Yeah.
And I just yesterday I finally mowed around all the hog buildings all in one day, which is the first time we've gotten that done. And the kid that usually mows for me, he's been gone. And so anyway, I mowed everything. And all I could think was, I think I could plant corn closer to these hog buildings. I don't know why we actually have this much grass anyway. I think next year we're going to get it we're going to try to hug it a little closer because, man, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It can be it's a whole day. I mean,
Yeah.
It is.
sometimes if you really go for it,
Yeah.
for sure.
But talking about, the things that we take for granted today. So, and I've told this story before, but I'll make it short. So a guy that went to country school with my dad and then didn't go on to high school, only went to the 8th grade and then started farming. He had a very particular personality and probably not a lot of, well, I don't think he needed many friends, to be honest. He was just one of those guys that you knew exactly where he stood on everything, whether you wanted to know or not. But he had kind of a special place for my dad. He was one of the few people that, like, he would stop by and talk to him once in a while because they grew up together. But he did, he worked hard for everything that he got, and he was very successful, and he accumulated some land. But he had 3 sons, and the ground that they put in hay or oats, he didn't charge him rent on that. He didn't charge the boys rent on that. So they always baled a pile of hay, which I didn't like those guys because I was one of the kids that, I baled hay around in the summer, and I was like, good Lord, these guys got a lot of hay ground. But anyway, he came over to our house one day, and he was mad as a hornet because they had bought a boxcar Magnum. And that was the first cab tractor that they'd had and they bought it new. And he was livid. And he informed my dad the whole litany of, it takes 3 generations to make a fortune and only 1 to lose it. And these boys of mine are working overtime. And if they got enough money to afford a tractor like that, they're paying rent on everything. I mean, he was it was the end. They were going to ruin him for everything he had. And they turned out okay. But I mean, in his mind, that was just an absolute, there was no need for anything that nice.
It was gluttony.
You're exactly right. That phrase might have been used. I don't know. I was pretty young, but I'll always remember that.
Yeah.
That's like when Chet, when we built the new shop, it's been 10 years ago now. And Chet wanted to have this big toolbox. And I'm like, you don't need to waste whatever it was, $3,500 or $3,000, whatever it was. It's just like, why? Because Randy and I had our little kids' wagon with 2 toolboxes on that. If something broke down, you just grab them, throw them in the back of the pickup. You could fix whatever was wrecked. You don't need to waste money on a big toolbox, but boy.
You went around and around on that.
Yeah, I was not too happy about that.
Yep.
That was not good.
Yep.
Now Storlock brings him all kinds of boxes.
Yeah, now they've got 3, I think, boxes, and not that. Let's just say if I was a mechanic, full-time mechanic, and I would be that guy that would have his toolbox locked all the time, because every time I go over to them, there's tools missing, they're not back where they're supposed to be, and I'm spending more time looking for them. But I could always find it in my little wagon.
Yep. There you go.
Sounds like us.
That is exactly like us.
We always have tools. We always have a project, and we always are like, yep. I think we got it all. And then you get over there and you're like, nope, got to go back.
And the worst is when you need that one thing and you go to where that one thing is, and it's not
the one
there.
wrench that's missing. The whole set is there except that one that you need.
Yeah. And then on a farm, you start going down the mental list of where's the next most likely place that is.
Where
first
was
it's like, oh, it's probably over here on the bench in the shot. Okay, it's not there. Oh, it's over at the grain bin. Oh, it's over at the hog. Okay, it's here. Oh, I hate that.
I think that's gotten to be a bigger issue, is that it seems like you always got to order parts now. So when you do work on a project, nobody puts nothing away because you aren't done.
Yep.
Well, 3 days later, when
something else breaks,
now that you're right, now you are missing what you need out of the box. But you just kind of walk it off, as I say.
Walk it off.
Yeah.
So
what's the farming operation look like today? So your brother is involved. You got Chet. What's it all look like now?
Randy and I, everything we do is 50-50. Chet's got his roughly 22% is his size. Eric, he has his rented acres from his mom and his grandparents.
That's the big Swede, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do some back and forth, custom farming type of deal with him. And Brody is Randy's son-in-law. And I don't know. So the future, I don't know what that's all going to look like, but so far that's where we're at.
Yeah.
The owners are Randy, Doug, Chet, and then Eric and Brody, and the other guys are employees. I guess they go in that category.
Yeah.
When did you guys start having kids? When did that kick off?
That was late 97?
Chet was born in 95, so we were
Five?
married in 88. Chet was 95, Stone was 98.
Nice.
So 20.
Yeah.
I should know that.
You should know that, but that's okay.
Hey, he did pretty good.
I'm
he did pretty
impressed
good.
with the
Yep.
date and
He got the-
birthday
he got
and
the key dates.
Anniversary, yeah.
Yeah, he's the same age as Clay.
Yep. My brother's
95.
my brother was born 95,
Yep.
and I was born 2000.
Okay.
So
Youngsta.
yep, 2 boys, same thing.
Youngsta.
Yep. Yep. I
He's-
don't feel young anymore.
Mm.
Frickin' 25.
Yeah.
I feel like time just flies now.
Ancient.
You get out of
You
school
just
and you're
wait.
like, years just go
It
by.
does.
Quick. It's crazy.
That's because we're all so busy. We're all
I know.
too busy almost.
Yeah.
So when you guys look back on everything that has transpired, what do you think was the toughest patch that you guys went through? Whether that be farming or kids or
You as a couple, you as a family, anything.
I guess I always go back to when there was we weren't the greatest marketers back in the 90s, and it seemed like we could never, there's a big farm show up in Fargo, in Big Iron, and we could never go to that because we were always vacuolating out the soybeans out of the grain bins, and it's September 15th farm show. And we had to get the beans out of the bin to put the new beans in the bin. And it was just, I remember saying that one time that because we ran old equipment all the time. And we lost or missed out on the opportunity to make not just the combine payment, but we could have bought a brand new combine for the money that we let slide
from
out.
not selling
From
it
not selling
the
it.
right time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think we were just so focused on the livestock and just working that I don't even know if there was, I suppose there was, but we didn't know about it. You could say I don't know if people were doing the, what do you call it, marketing for
Yeah.
farmers. That was nothing. I remember being offered to hire somebody to do that for you, but yeah, we needed the worst summer I had was we needed a big fuel tank for the farm. Wanted to buy transports of fuel, semi-loads, and there was an old tank, big, thick, heavy-duty tank, 18,000 gallon. And I was so worried that we weren't going to be around the next year that I did not want to go through the work of they only wanted $300 for the tank, but I didn't want to go through the work of setting it up and then maybe not being around.
Farming.
And I don't know what
year you think that?
It had to be.
I'm thinking it was 98.
Yeah.
Because in my talk, I wrote that I remember how broken you were, thinking that the farm was not going to be able to support us and that you would have to find something else to do.
Yeah.
And it's when we turned 30 because we had that was a big thing in our area. When you have turn big birthdays, you have a party, and I had to go to the coin jar to get stuff. I had to have a garage sale to buy the boys' winter coats, and so that's 27 years ago. And I think that's to your point about, the people don't know, and the YouTube world doesn't know. They see what we have now,
Right.
but they don't see how little we had and how hard they work to keep it all going. And
Yeah,
that was
that's
yeah. And I wasn't worried about him providing. And, I was sad to see him so disappointed that
well.
this
I
wasn't
just couldn't
doing what
believe
it.
that you could literally work yourself to the bone, and at the end of the year, you maybe were breaking even or barely breaking even, and I that was the worst thing that I think I can say I went through.
For the farming end, for the family end. There's a lot worse things.
Yeah.
When you get down to the health issues and stuff like that, I mean, then now you're in a whole different issue.
But that's there is a period of time in there, and it's that transition, like I talked about, where your success in farming used to have a direct correlation. Is if you were willing to put in the time and do the hard work, you were going to be successful.
Right.
But then as expenses grew, rent grew, and your market price stagnated, then it all changed to the point where, the curse, I don't know if you, in Iowa, that on public television, they had a show called Market to Market every
Saturday after cleaning barn would come in and watch
and
it.
my mother was pretty sure that if Sue Martin lived a county over, that my dad would be trying to court her, because we did that exact same thing when it came to beans, because we never sold our beans because Sue Martin always thought beans were headed higher, and my dad loved her.
Yes.
And so we just held on, and then we would sell them for less.
Yeah, I think I remember she said it was going to be $18 beans one time. And we're smiling, and
my dad drank that Kool-Aid for a long time because the corn, we ground the corn, and so beans were the only thing he had to speculate on, and he just hated the idea of not selling them for the high. Now, but in his mind, I don't think he ever had like a time stamp within what period of time did you want to sell them for the high, because we missed many highs,
right?
And then we would end up selling at the low. So anyway,
what always bothered me with once it's in the bin, and if you are happy with you pick up out the numbers, say $1 a bushel profit or whatever it is. If for some stupid reason that market goes up $3, you can make 3-year advance in 1 year.
Yep.
And that, when we were able to do that a few times, but then I would love for somebody to do I've always told Amy, if I could find somebody smart enough to look back and see where we've selling the way we have sold, and where, if you future contract and just assure yourself something, who actually is ahead. I don't know, but I do know that those years that you think it's coming to an end because you've lost your butt, that's not too good a sleep that you have for a few months there.
Yeah. Do you guys do all your own marketing still to this day, or do you?
Chet and Eric have now hired a couple, 3 different, and Randy and I do have a couple different ones. Randy still does most of the marketing. I think he's getting sick of that, or the responsibility of it. But
it is nice to have a non-family member to complain about when they don't market it right, rather than it be you. I mean, that's the biggest thing I hear from guys. I ask them, if they use somebody and if they say yes, and then I ask them, are you happy with me? He goes like, no, I'm not. And I would get somebody better, but it is nice to be mad at them and not mad at myself. So I guess I'm going to keep using them.
That's the thing. You always get differing opinions. Guys are like, oh yeah, I used them, and they're pissed off at them, but then
Mhm.
they keep using them, and you're like, I don't know.
It's
It's,
like-
it's a weird thing. Some people are like, no, I'll never hire that out. And then there's some people that have it hired out and they say it's not good, but they stick with it. And there's there's people that say it's great. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Well, I think it's there again. Some of that is just born in natural for
Mhm.
some
Yeah.
farmers that are good at it and
yeah,
Yep.
understand it. And
Yep.
for me, if I had to do it myself, I think I'd be just more or less on the more just gonna contract so many today, or I don't think I'd be into all the stuff that you can
Yep.
do. I just don't
I think
understand it enough.
part of it over the years, what I've observed is they're so married to it. It's in the bin. They've worked so hard, so many hours,
Yep.
so much money invested. Yay, we've got it in the bin. And now it's like peeling their fingers off of it to get them to sell it. And that has, so I said it's a math problem.
Yep.
And that's how I have always looked at it. But it doesn't matter how I look at it because
Yep.
it seems like it's an emotional thing versus a math, which
Yeah.
to me math is pretty simple. You have a break even price, you can get more than that, then let's sell some.
Yep.
Then we'll sell some more. And so to me it seems, and I know that's very simplified, but it still is about
It works though.
the math. And I've
Yep.
never had the opportunity. I've always said, give me 10,000 bushels and see how I do.
yeah.
And still, how many? Let's see. It'll be 37 years we've been married. Still have. I should get that.
I think
Well-
I'll
maybe
give it to you
maybe
this year.
my
I
new
don't,
kitchen could come if
I
I.
don't- I don't think you could maybe contract a profit that is coming.
No,
your
that's
way.
right.
maybe
And
a
that's
different year.
how do you start when things are so
Yeah.
terrible? But
I know
What's-
that I wouldn't do that. I know that I wouldn't give Trisha any because there's already so many things that she has to tell me that she was right about. I don't think I could take giving her one more thing to rub in my eye and go, well, see, I told you.
It's
So-
a possibility.
I know. I know that's selfish, but I just don't think I'm emotionally strong enough to take another ding like that.
Maybe that's the issue here. I don't know.
It could be. It could be.
What's more stressful? What's a more stressful time? The 80s or today? As far as just
Well, or maybe the 90s.
or yeah, most stressful period of time in your journey of farming.
I don't. I would say the 90s were definitely.
Yeah.
And the older you get, I guess we were naive enough or stubborn enough, whatever the word would be. Before we had kids, we never ever, if the banker says no, you can't have that money or we're not going to borrow you that. We tried anything and everything to find some way to get it.
Yep.
And never ever thought one thing about not borrowing as much as we could get.
Yep.
It worked out, but now the kids came. I would say when the kids got older is when I think we got a little more
Conservative.
well, maybe we better not try to stick our neck out
Yeah.
for all of that and be happy with just something
Yeah.
on a smaller scale or something. But
Well, and we've talked about this many times, but we went through that period where there was really no incentive not to have that money borrowed because the cost of having it was nothing.
Mhm.
I mean, if the opportunity was there, the money cost you almost nothing if it was a profitable endeavor. But now we're in a different spot because now it's not as bad as it was, like we talked about, 20% interest, but your margin is so poor that interest, that it's a big number. And these guys,
Well, yeah, I mean, what I was used to all the way up till I was, I don't know, 20, 21, 3.5. It's like, this is great.
yeah, well, we
This works.
never even really figured that
Yeah.
in on the equation. It
Yeah.
was just like, well, that's such a
Yeah.
reasonable amount. It's
we break that much stuff in
Yeah.
a year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because when we had Rob Bredeman on here, he has a lot of hogs, and he was telling his story about going through the 90s, and he was talking about 20% interest. And we had people that commented on that podcast like, "There's no way, there's no way," and I'm like, "No, it was,
Yes.
it was. That's legit." You know, people always say, or they always, parents always say, "You're never ready to have kids." Like, you're never gonna be ready, right? You just got to do it. And like when I think about having kids, it's like, man, money is tight today. Everything's getting more expensive, whatever. But I was talking to Chet, we've talked a few times, and he was like, you made a comment on here before, like, your kids don't know. They really don't know when you're young and how the household's running. Like, you don't know if you're broke or not. It's just like, this is life and I'm enjoying it because I'm a kid.
Yep.
And he just told me that story about, mice. He was like, he's running around trapping mice. And he's like, I loved it. You just.
Oh, the biggest
they
thing at
loved it.
nighttime. And if you seen one run across the kitchen floor, you got the flashlight and the BB gun and laid down underneath the oven and tried to nail them under there.
Yeah.
I have a picture of the two of them in the kitchen, and Chet's got the mouse by the tail and the BB gun, and they're both
Yep.
smiling. And
Yeah.
oh, go.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. What would you say about that? That when people say that, like, any advice or any thoughts on that thought of you're never ready to have kids? Just, like, what's your guys' experience with it?
I would say that's a true statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to wait
You don't
for...
know what you don't know. And you have no idea what it means to raise a child. You don't know how they're going to be. I remember Chet was very colicky, and many years later, I find out it's from milk.
Yep.
But I remember we had a cat in the house, and Chet had such a icky tummy. We had, and I don't think I'll use the word I used, but there was poop everywhere. There was poop on the floor, poop on the wall, poop on everything, because he was just had icky diapers.
The
And he
poor
was
little guy was
little.
so full of pressure. And it was what time of the night you woke up
I
to
don't know,
change him?
4 in the morning or 3
And
in the
it-
morning.
oh.
I was not a happy, no. And starting the washer, and and then in comes this sweet cat rubbing against my legs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, was that ever easy? Just pour a little food in the dish, a little bit of water, the end with the cat. And here I've got all over the place.
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
that was, you just don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know why he didn't feel good,
Yeah.
And there is no handbook. You
Mhm.
don't know. And they're each very, very different.
Yep.
And so you don't even know how to raise them, how to discipline differently. The money, you'll always manage it. You'll always figure out, and it's worth it, of course. And, but I don't know why you'd wait,
Yeah.
Well,
it's like when I talk, Trish will ask the boys, if we'll be talking about whatever it was in the 90s, and they don't remember anything. The only thing they remember is on Friday nights, they could stay up late and we'd let them build a tent in the living room, and we all slept in the living room, or they'd sleep on our floor. Like, that's what you remember. You don't remember any of the
Krispy
rest of
Kreme
it.
donuts on Saturday mornings in that rental house,
Yep.
watching cartoons
Yep.
when you were redoing this house.
Yep.
Yep. You don't know
No.
when you're a
Ignorance
kid. You
is
just
bliss.
are like,
It is.
yep, this is great.
and they, in our case, one of the joys that I had in the list was the generational relationships that kids had being at the farm, being able to go to grandma's and help
Yep.
in the garden and learn. Chet was like, practically you'd trip over him because he's always
Yeah, he
around
was.
you, and-
He always wanted to be at the farm,
Yeah.
and I know that somebody asked me, well, how did you teach Chet everything? I never had to teach him nothing. He was with me all
Just
the time.
followed you around.
He's seen what needed
Yep.
to be done, how to do it. So if you don't allow him to be with you at the farm, you're going to end up with something that
Yep.
doesn't
maybe
know.
isn't going to be at the farm.
Mm-hmm.
And we homeschooled. Boys were in 2nd and 4th grade when we started. And a lot of it was very, very anxious at school and hated it and wanted to jump out the back end of the bus. He even had talked to Stone how they would have this all figured out, what was going to be said and how he was going to cover for him. And it was just so stressful for all of us, so far away from town and long bus rides. And so we had that extra opportunity also where we get done with school in the morning and off to the farm they'd go in
They
the
could,
go-kart and go to grandma's. And
yeah, they could do school in about the time that the bus ride would have
Got
been
him to school.
total
To and
or
from.
back and
Yep.
forth, because I think it was almost an hour and a half bus ride
Oh,
if they'd have went to the school that we're in the
Yeah.
district of.
yeah,
So yeah, it would have almost been 3 hours, and they got going at school right away in the morning, and
done by
close to
noon.
dinner they were done.
yeah. So Chet always knew he wanted a farm.
Mhm.
I believe so. Yeah.
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 Nice. So what when the social media thing kicked off, when that idea, what did you think initially? What were your thoughts?
All you have to do is watch the first few videos. You'll catch the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nikki, and I think she was old. I think that was one of the very first ones. It was a muddy fall. We bought tracks for the combine. First time we had ever had tracks. Bought some used off-brand tracks, and we were trying to install them, me and Chet. And here's Nicole with the camera as we're
Muddling
attempting
through
to
it.
put the first track on the combine. And yeah, it was, well, you can tell that I was not thinking this was
Please.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at the end, or at the somewhere there, a month later, whatever, maybe longer, I just kind of settled on the idea, well, if most people that aren't farmers think that we're out here destroying everything and not taking care of the land, and if we can try to teach something or show our lives
Yep.
to everybody,
You'll tolerate it.
It will be okay then.
Yep.
But then I find out that most of the farmers that watch, or our farmers that watch, and I'm like, why do they want to watch people work farm stuff when they do it all day long? So
Well, so they can tell you what you're doing wrong.
there is some of that.
Oh yeah.
Go through any video like of us fixing something. There are a lot of really smart people out there, because the bulk of the comments are
Do it this way.
how you should have done it, what you
Yeah.
did wrong.
Use
Well,
this
there's a-
instead.
There's a lot of tools out there I don't even know are made
Yeah.
to do these things differently and
Yeah.
easier. It's just the old saying, we know what we know, and that's normal to us. If
Yeah.
I come visit you on your farm, I might learn something, or I might think, boy, those guys, you only know what you know.
Yep. That's
Amy,
right.
what'd you think of the social media when it kicked off? What'd you think initially?
Well, I know that Chet and Doug spent a lot of time on Snapchat back and forth.
Mhm.
And I think you got on Snapchat because you wanted to defend yourself.
Yeah, that's how that all started.
And a friend of Chet's suggested, I think that you should get on Instagram, told Chet. And then the Instagram thing started. And then you got an account on Instagram. And so it started kind of that way first. And then I think it was Cole the Corn Star that reached out to Chet and said, you're not going to make any money at Instagram. You should be YouTubing. And Chet's like, no way. And I think for me, it was kind of fun to watch. So Nicole and Chet, Nicole is Chet's late wife.
Yep.
And I don't know if people know the history of that, but anyway, they started it up and they start putting these videos on, and I'm like, why? And I understood the idea of the educating, and I think that was a great idea and everything. I remember when Chet told me he got the first $100 YouTube Google AdSense
Yep.
check. I was showing everybody, like, can you even believe
You can.
all they're doing is working, and they put it out there, and now they're getting money for it? It didn't even make any sense. And I was excited to watch from the outside and to see how they worked on improving it and learning and I think that was enjoyable to me. And there's no way you could ever be able to add up all of the amazing opportunities we've gotten from it. And who would have ever guessed when I was chasing mice around, we would be going to Kentucky and we'd be going to Boone, Iowa for farm shows.
Yep.
People would want to talk to us. And then, but the best part is all the people that we get to meet. I mean, we get to meet you guys today. We wouldn't have met you.
Right.
You know, we wouldn't be able to, this amazing community of farmers, and I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think with that being said, it scares me because we've all put somebody where only the one is supposed to be put. And believe you me, don't think that this stuff is something that you should strive to be, because we're all human and we'll all let you down if you stick around long enough. So
yeah,
I know we have the same feeling. It's
weird, kind of.
It is weird
because you're just doing what you would normally do, and you're just shooting the pushing the play button or start button and stop button,
and you're just talking about what you love to do.
Yeah,
and people want to watch it. And now Doug and I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
which was originally mine, Amy, and then gradually so Doug's at the forefront because he's the popular one. And
well, you started it out for
a different reason and just didn't keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then I had him on a couple times and I'm like, what's going on? I'm getting notices from YouTube or something and people are watching it. Well, the one that really took off was I was talking about unanswered prayer.
Yep.
Some people say that there's unanswered prayer, which is untrue. There's always answered prayer. It just isn't maybe sometimes always the answer you want.
Yep.
And it was talking about when we lost Nicole. And for whatever reason, I think YouTube attached it to one of following one of Chet's or whatever, the suggested video next.
Yep.
The one weekend that got, and I go, what's going on? And then Chet's like, you need to do more. And I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And the two tips that he gave us or me was, first, you need to be consistent. And second, you need to learn to edit. And I'm like, I'm not learning to edit. Because I was just winging 10-minute video straight through, post it.
Yep. No cuts.
No cut. Didn't know how. He grabs my phone, shows me iMovie, and about 2 seconds is showing. I am not techie. I'm not. And but then I kept thinking, he knows what he's doing. He just said be consistent. So it was Sundays, and I started to learn to. Really, it's quite easy on iMovie.
Mm-hmm.
Just it kind of puts them together for you, and then you just have to figure out what you want to cut out.
Yep.
It's crazy, but anyway, so we now do twice a week, and a lot of Duggo stuff. And people, I cannot believe it. People watch us do work at our house and put the boat in, and there's always DIY stuff that we do at our house, and you've always got a story.
Yep.
I mean, many
they're
Doug,
gonna run out someday, I'm sure.
I don't think they will. And then I say, no, we can't. Nope, that's it for the footage. And so I'm trying to manage him.
Oh, you got a manager now. You really have hit the big time.
Yeah. How much do you charge?
Oh, you don't want to just sign here and press hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So it's more like your guys' channel is like home life, farm life, just DIY projects around the house, just all that
I think
stuff.
at the top of it, I say life on and off the farm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're on the farm.
2 channels.
You got one camera here, and then you're coming home. You got another one. You're
It's
just
actually
I've
had that a few times,
Yeah.
and it gets so overwhelming. You don't know what you've done on this camera and where you ended on the other one.
Yep.
And then you're talking to your Instagram people, and we were filming the other day, and I go, these people don't know what you're talking about. I think those are the Instagram.
Right. Well, I must have said that over here.
Oh no, that
And maybe
was
we
Chet.
should. I don't. The only reason we still do Snapchat and Instagram is we started it out the way we did because, well, that's just the way it started. And then we went to Chet went to the YouTube and wanted the Instagram and Snapchat for kind of the every single day behind the scenes type deal. But I know I'm not getting as many viewers on that anymore.
Yep.
So I don't know if I should continue to take the time
It
to
all
do
takes
it.
time.
I feel like, we all kind of wonder, like, why, what about this is interesting to people?
Yes.
And my theory is that our society has had its fill of insincerity as far as, the popular, whether that be athletes or news people, celebrities, all those people, and nothing is true. Like the lives they portray versus their reality. So much of that has come out that it's nothing. Like it's all orchestrated.
It's all fake news.
Yeah. I mean, and so people, I think, have grown so tired of that they just really enjoy people that are just real and that aren't like that's their authentic selves. And they may not agree with everything they do, but they know that it's authentic. And I think that's the draw. Whatever profession you're in, I feel like there's probably an audience of people out there that find that really, really interesting, which I guess I don't know if that's good or bad, but I feel like that's where we're at.
Well, yeah, I just think there's less trust out there than ever before in food and in media and politics. And I think people in entertainment, I think people want real people doing real stuff, talking about real things.
They just want normal.
They want normal.
And someone they can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Say it like it is, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't always, but.
That broad definition of normal.
Well, this is true.
It's my favorite George Carlin bit is the driving, and he says that anybody that drives slower than you is an idiot, and anybody that drives faster than you is a maniac. And it's basically like your normal is all the people that you hang out with that are just as crazy as you are. That's normal. A little too crazy, a little more crazy, a little less crazy, weird or nuts. It's it's crazy.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the biggest misconception in farming is that consumers have or just people have that you guys see and deal with?
I guess I would there seems to be a lot of thinking that you can't lose money, or it's just maybe should
Gravy
we borrow the
train.
phrase, put seed in the ground and water it, and
Yep.
it just ain't. That's nothing.
Let the gravy roll.
Yeah.
You're
If it
just
was
a-
easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why there's only a few of us out here. And I often wonder many times a week, why am I doing this? But I don't know. I do think that it used to be a lot of fun. It still is fun, but there's less of it.
Yeah.
It just is getting to be.
What used to be a lot of fun? Oh.
Well, I think as the farm is growing, we never hired nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to do something, you just slept less.
Yep.
And
Now you're an HR manager.
Well, no, I'm not, but I maybe should be.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to be,
Mm-hmm.
because that ain't what we grew up with. We don't know what. I have no idea. When I give off a list of things to do, I just kind of say it thinking somebody is going to do it. Well, do they want me to pick out one or two names out of the 4 or 5 guys to do that? certain thing, I'm bad at that. I'll admit that. I don't know. I would rather somebody pick out of the list of what to do. I don't like telling people what to do. I just never have. I'd rather do it myself than to have to tell somebody, you go do this or that.
And I think what you're talking about is that's one of the downfalls of growing a farming operation, because on the one hand, all the expenses, all the inputs keep going up. And so, just to stay where you're at, you're having to grow. But then the flip side of that is, I know so many guys that at the end of the day, what they enjoyed the work of planting a crop and harvesting a crop. But now they're not the ones doing a lot of it, because congratulations, now they are the HR manager. They are the equipment fleet finance manager. They are the grain marketing manager. They are the rent negotiator. They have all these hats that they're wearing, and it gets back to that joy. It's like they look out there and employee number 3 is running the combine, and that's really all. Like all of it started, and we all thought, boy, it'd sure be nice to have equipment that doesn't break down, and we could just plant all the corn or harvest all the corn and not have anything go wrong. Boy, that'd really be nice. But it's just this. I think that's one of the biggest struggles we have in agriculture is you end up having to wear a lot of hats that you never intended on wearing.
Yeah, and it's well, we're still learning.
Yeah.
I always thought at some point you would perfect everything that you have done for most of your life, and you'd know how to do it perfectly. But I used to run a soybean combine, and in the many years ago, Mom used to run one, Dad and I, and then I think Mom got out of it. Randy took over, and now Randy and I are not in the combines at all anymore. And and now we're trying to keep everything moving instead of actually doing the stuff that needs to be done. So
this isn't on the list, but I wanted to ask you this. So something that's happened to me just in the last year, I feel like I'm hitting that age where now then people younger than me look at me and they think I'm supposed to have wisdom, but I don't feel like I'm that person. And it kind of freaks me out. Like, it's that same thing. Like, I always felt like my dad, like, that was wisdom. Like, right or wrong, he knew everything about everything.
But maybe he felt like you do now, though.
Well, gosh, I hope not, because he lived to be 99. I hope that at some point I actually do feel like I know some stuff. But now then, when people ask, like, you get to an age and people start to look at you like you're supposed to have it figured out. Yeah. And I'm like, oh boy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a weird, that's all part of getting older, but it's
There's
pretty
also
weird.
a flip side to that. Sometimes the young guys don't respect the wisdom.
True.
Because
I am very bad at telling a person how to do it, but by gosh, if I see him doing it, I can. Oh no! Don't do it
not like
that way.
that.
Yeah,
But that goes back to, I think I just know how to do it. I don't remember how to do it until I am actually physically doing that job. So I don't know. Some guys maybe are meant to have a bunch of employees. Any farm that has nothing but employees, I cannot. I wouldn't want to have nothing to do with that. That would drive me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could do it.
What are you guys excited about? As you look forward from where you are today, what do you think is what gets you excited for the future? Or what do you think is an opportunity for your operation?
Could be family too, I guess. Could be anything.
I guess that's one of them questions like the grain bin guy asked me. I don't know how to
Opportunity
answer
to stay in business.
that. Yeah, it just hopefully, yeah, right. Finish it out here, and I guess my new last few years, my prayer has been to let me know when enough is enough, or when to say, okay, that's it. I always thought I'd be that guy that would be in the tractor till he couldn't get in the tractor. I don't foresee that happening anymore. I think I might come or want to drive a tractor every once in a while, but the days I could not do what we used to do. I mean, we'd wake up and our hair was still wet from the shower from the night before. It was just ridiculous, and many people have done that.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing special about that. It's just whatever drives a guy to do it, it happens. So.
Yep.
What was the question again?
You asked it.
What are you excited about for the future?
Well, we just got new titles, Grandma and Grandpa.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we have little Lily. Chet got remarried, for people that don't know the story, to Jean Marie. And they have Lily, who's 4 months old, and she's lots of fun. And so I'm excited about what that looks like, because that's a role we've never had, a title that we still are like, when they say grandma or grandpa, you're like looking around.
Where are those people
like,
at?
Who are you talking to? That's for older people than us, you know. But I'm excited about that. And I don't know, and I don't see how this is going to happen, but I'm excited to be going to Arizona or somewhere warmer and not be farming. Or I don't know how we're not going to farm, but I want to figure out a way that I can get away out of Minnesota for an extended period of time for some warmth. So we just started researching that last winter.
Yep.
And I fell in love with the spot, but it's a little too populated for Doug. So we've got a lot. I mean, it's just a research kind of thing, because we're 56. So,
Doug, there could be a new ultimatum coming.
Well,
Get me out of the snow now.
It's fun to go down and look at how. I always heard of the guys, the snowbirds, you know.
Yep.
And I always thought of them from being North Dakota, big sugar beet farmers or whatever. But I always have how do you leave the farm
Yep.
and expect everybody else to do the work, and you're down
goofing off?
Yeah. Just hats off to those guys that have figured out how to do it.
Well,
and that's why it's harder to get excited about it, because I don't know how it's going to happen.
Right.
I don't know how we can do it.
So we had, as Sawyer said, we had Rob Brenneman on, and Rob has a huge hog operation. He's one of the biggest. He's one of the biggest producers in the country, really. And he has a place in Florida, and he said, you know, I didn't know how that they were going to make it without me. And he goes, now we've done it long enough that they're actually nervous when they hear that I'm coming back, because they know I'm going to mess everything up.
Oh,
Yeah. Sounds like you just got to rip the Band-Aid, kind of.
Yep.
A little bit.
yeah.
Yep.
That's what he did, it sounds like.
That is. But he said, you know, that everybody's adapted to where now when he comes to the office, they're like, oh man, Rob's back.
He's
Jeez. Just when we got this thing going right. So you may be fine.
Yeah.
May be fine.
Yeah.
Hey, at least when you go down there, you're making content still. You
This
can
is
just
true.
say, hey, we're still working down here.
And it's
Yep.
a write-off.
Yeah, it's a write-off. There you go. We're making
You
content.
can give the Costco update, what the samples are for that weekend, you know.
Mhm.
There's it's unlimited.
Who's had the biggest impact on your guys' lives, and like what's the what's the best lesson you learned from those people? If you had to look back, I know that's kind of a tough question.
Kind of a paintbrush.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll think while you go.
Oh. It's hard to pick a person. I could pick a situation. I did not like farming, and I was mad about it. I was mad. I was alone so much and raising the boys by myself, basically, and very angry. And it was a situation that happened in our old church that I was really what they coined hurt in the church. I was very hurt in the church we were going to. And it was a Band-Aid, and it was a 2x4, and it was all kinds of stuff that, like, this isn't working, and we need to do something different. And so I decided, because he's farming and it's October, and I'm going to go to a different church because some friends of mine had this cool church. And so I would put it into more of a group of people that changed my life, showing me a different perspective of faith. And pretty much the other part was that I had to be humble and admit that I can't stomp my feet. I can't complain. I can't keep on feeling sorry for myself. I am the one that needs to change. I'm the one. I mean, I'm married here, and this is what he's going to do, and I need to accept it. And down on my knees, literally in front of the dishwasher, and asking the Lord to change me. And so I would say it's the Lord would be the one, but it's just different influences and timing on things, and being hurt enough and sick of that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like being mad.
Yep.
And finally, just like, I'm done with this. And so it took a little bit. And I think he noticed change. I hope so.
But then the real problem happened after harvest, and make hay when the sun shines. Most of the time, very seldom do we take a Sunday off, but we do if we can. But
go time.
we can always look back at the end of harvest and pick out the few hours or the 2 days that if we'd have kept on, we'd have been done, and we wouldn't have to struggle here. Is that a faith problem? Maybe. But the real issue, when Amy done what she did, then she had to bring me to the different church.
I thought you were going to say the problem was that you told her you'd meet her at church, and then you went and she never showed up because she was at the different church.
She was at a different church.
You didn't get the message.
We grew up Lutheran, just, the denomination of sit in the pew real still and look forward.
There was movement in the
new church
auditorium, or in the
different songs.
that took me a long time, and I can't say I still am comfortable with the different way of worshiping and stuff like that, but I don't know. But it's all for the best. It definitely was for the best.
What about you? Who had the biggest impact on your life, and what lessons did you learn from them?
I don't know if, I guess I would say maybe my mom, with the way she worked. I mean, she still will go out in the garden at 9 o'clock at night. She shouldn't be out there. Hips are shot, knees broke, or whatever's the matter with that now. But anybody who thinks that they need to send their wife to town to work to keep the farm going, I don't believe in that. It wouldn't have been for Mom taking care of the hog house or the farrowing nursery. And then I was there, and I don't believe that you have to send your wife, or don't let the banker tell you got to send your wife to town to get a job, because there's ways of making money at the farm, different ways. So yeah, I think that's the family that works together, I think, is going to stand.
We
Oh, is
haven't
that
talked
right?
about any politics yet.
No, you
Well,
better
I
not,
didn't
Amy.
know. We usually keep that between us two because we don't like to.
Here's the beautiful thing about what we've done today is I think that this is the cleanest episode that we've ever done.
That
for
is
Sawyer.
true.
And then when you said we haven't even talked about politics yet, well, that could jeopardize the
This
entire
whole thing.
all for naught.
I've been being polite for Amy, and now she's telling me to get on talk about politics. You might ruin me. I might have to venture off. I mean, I don't know.
I just, I know that Chet has told me, Mom, you just don't talk about politics and religion. And I'm like, well, I've already, I talk about my faith. I
Yeah.
have to because it's part of me.
Yeah.
And I would talk about politics.
Yeah.
I can't stand the comments, but I hear you guys, that's a thing. So,
Yeah.
well,
What do you think about what's going on today's world? How do you feel overall?
I have very strong feelings about it. There's definitely needs to be a major change, and that is starting to happen. And I'm very glad to see things hopefully can be followed through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so I think within our audience, because we don't really hear a whole lot from people that I would say probably don't share our views because it probably makes them
They
so
don't-
mad that
Don't
they
watch or don't
Well,
listen.
there's a few.
There's a few, and I love them. They're my favorites.
They like to listen, then comment.
Yeah, I love it. But I'm not. One of the problems we have in our country is that we're so divided. But it's the parties, it's the people running these political parties, and their goal is to divide because that's how they stay atop the mess that they've created. But the truth of the matter is, and my dad used to say this about politicians. He said the problems with politicians are that if you put them in a wash machine and pulled them out, you couldn't tell one from the other because they're all about themselves. And if they're in power, they're all about staying in power. And like today, there are an awful lot of hot button issues that people are very passionate about. And the last few elections, people have tried to make it about this issue or that issue, whether it be abortion, whether it be the border, whether it be women's rights, gay rights, whatever you want to pick. And the thing that drives me crazy about all of that is, whatever you want to believe on all those subjects, that's up to you. That's between you and the Lord. But the truth is, we aren't going to have, like your hot button issue that you want the government to fix. If the government doesn't get their butt in gear, they're not going to have any money to fix anything. And we keep voting these people in that claim that they want to fix. If we ran our farm the way the United States government has run theirs, we'd all be living in the streets. But
we'd be down in Cancun and
yeah.
Because we'd be,
the fleecing of America.
We just, and that's by design. All of this, everything else that is fed to us to get us mad about somebody else that doesn't have that view, that's so that we don't unite about the one, or to me, it all comes down to, we really have to get our country back because it's been hijacked by a bunch of people that their number one priority is to stay in office and enrich themselves. And there are people that are guilty on both sides of the aisle. And I think one of the most like in your face examples of that was Robert Kennedy Jr. when he goes up on Capitol Hill and all of those Democrats just are going off on him. Well, what's funny about that guy is he's a lifetime Democrat.
Yep.
And if Hillary Clinton would have won the election back when she ran against Trump, and she would have put him up for the same position that he has today, all those Democrats that were going after him, they would be praising him. And by the same token, all those Republicans that were just saying how great he was, they would be the ones that were just absolutely trying to demolish the guy. To me, he is the perfect example. The man hasn't really changed. It's just what side of the aisle that has put him up there. And they are so entrenched that it is the party above all else, and it has nothing to do with the men and women in it. And if you step out of line, you're dead to me.
It's terrible.
And
And literally, there is a dead woman in Minnesota because she stepped
that's
out
right.
of the party. I don't know. She didn't agree
Yeah.
with how they were voting, and she was dead the
Yeah.
next day, or close.
Yeah.
And there could have been
And someone,
few more.
and her and her husband were both killed.
Yeah.
And, like, this is it's beyond what we could possibly imagine how bad it is, really. And with homeschooling, I never liked history, but we spent a lot of time on history, and not only just history as we know it or whatever, Egyptians to Romans to Greeks, Spanish, everybody wanted that their motivation was power.
Yep.
And it's like they're addicted to this. And how much money can a person make? I don't know. But I think there's so much blackmail. Whatever all this nasty pedophile stuff is, it's got a lot of people that they're using it as leverage, I think. And it's so bad. I don't think we could even imagine it. How we could never come up with how crooked and how awful
And how deep it runs.
Entangled, not just in the United States, across the world. Because I'm reading stuff. I mean, I'm making
I just
myself.
wish we could fast forward whatever amount of years that we need to if the truth comes out, so we don't have to waste our time thinking about it, talking about it, fighting about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't Trump just try to he just had a judge try to release something about the Epstein,
and
they denied him.
They denied it. Yep.
It's like, how can you tell the president no on that?
Yep.
It's kind of
it'll be another ruling. It'll have to go to the Supreme Court. I mean, it all runs so slow. It's just, they're basically, they're just trying to sandbag. Whoever's in power tries to get as much done any way as they possibly can, as fast as they can, and the other side does everything they can to try to stonewall it. And as a result, nothing really gets done, and we, the American people, pay the price. And to your point about history, and I've said this so many times, we are so arrogant as a society because we truly think that somehow we are smarter and better than all of the generations that came before us. And I'm like, do you not think the Romans thought they had it all figured out? Yes. They conquered just about the entire civilized world. Do you think the Egyptians didn't think they had it all figured out? They ruled longer than any civilization in history, well, that we know of anyway. It's like we're not any smarter. We have better toys. Well, we think we do. I don't know. But we're all flawed. And we're all just arrogant enough that we believe that what has happened to all these other societies can't happen to us because we are smart. But at the end, we end up relying upon people that are motivated by power.
Yeah.
And then
at the end of the day, as a young person, I just look around. It's like, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you show me that you're for the American people and we can actually see that, sense that, feel that you're for us and your actions of what you're going to do in office, you're going to do that. Great. I support you in that. But there are very, very few politicians that I think aren't bought and paid for by
somebody,
by the establishment. And that when you have money in politics, nothing's ever going to get done for us the way we need it to get done, because they always are going to have a vested interest of, oh, I'm getting greased here, or I'm getting greased here to do this, or vote on this bill this way. And they don't even think about us. I mean, most of them don't even think about the American people. That is the problem. And it used to be when you elected somebody, they served your country, and then they went back to do what they were already doing before they became a politician. Now it's a career thing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the money.
It's the money. It's we're getting in, we're staying in as long as we possibly can. But it used to be, no, I'm going to go serve my country and then go back to what I already was doing.
All right.
And yeah, and then like we're talking about, the deficit and printing money. And honestly, that is the biggest issue because sustainability, keeping this country intact, if we just keep printing money and the dollar falls, and I mean, we're going to be in terrible shape if that happens. I mean, a lot of people will, but if we lose the dollar, that's
you're not going to have to worry
bueno.
about your Medicaid.
Yeah.
Because there will be no Medicaid.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to worry about them raising the Social Security 2 years because you're not going to get Social Security.
Crop insurance.
You're going to keep paying into Social Security, but you're going to get nothing out of it. And you're going to pay a lot more for a lot of things.
And what happens when people that have gotten that free, that help, that aid, that free stuff, when they can't get that anymore, what are people going to do?
Well, and we've already passed that. We have passed the point where there are more people in this country that get more in benefits than what they pay in taxes. And the vast majority, a majority of Americans don't pay tax. And so you have a majority of people who can vote, and when they get free things, they like to get free things. And so they'll keep voting for free things. And once you get on that bandwagon, I'm just glad. I feel sorry for your generation. I tell Sawyer this. I'm just happy that I'm as old as I am and in as poor a health as I am, so that I will hopefully arrive at death's door when the good Lord takes me, and I won't have to deal with all this.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, it makes you worried as a young person. I mean, I don't know if you guys felt this way at our age, but
Well, I think
it's crazy.
what year unemployment, that used to be, and I would have been maybe old enough that I should have known or been paying attention, older teenager. I think it was like 2 months. You
8
had
weeks, 8 weeks.
to get
I
a
think
job.
you're right, 8
and
weeks.
if you didn't find one,
Ran out.
You did not get any more money. And
Yeah.
why? How much better of a plan? I mean, it's a help. It's to get you through whatever happened at that time, to get you to the next place you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
You had to prove that you were applying to
Yes.
places.
Yes.
Well, now it's gotten to be a big game, and they've just
Mhm.
given more and more away. And yeah, I try not. I don't get into politics too much, and I shouldn't even say, but I think the lobbyists, once that stuff got, it just don't make sense to me that you give your money to a lobbyist so that they can go down there and do whatever they do, buy or whatever they
Buy
do
the
with
vote.
It. Yeah,
They buy the vote.
Mhm.
it don't make sense.
Yep. Yep. Well, look at that. We took that for a spin, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did.
I'm pretty mellow.
So how do people find you? What is the name of your guys's social media?
So Instagram is Amy's Blessings. The YouTube title is Doug Duggo and Amy Larson, but I think at Amy's Blessings is on there. What are you?
I don't know. You made up the account for me many years ago.
Oh.
I have no idea.
Was there ever a push to add Amo, to change you to Amo so you could have Duggo and Amo?
I haven't heard that one yet, but maybe it will be now.
Yeah, there you go. That's good, actually.
And I did survive my whole entire life until 5 years ago without a nickname. So I don't know how I feel about the whole thing, but
Yesterday we got out of the vehicle to go have lunch in Clear Lake, Iowa, and we were walking in, and I could see this gal looking at us, and she hollers out, "Duggo!" And
Yep.
I'm like, oh my gosh, we just got out of the car, first stop, and we had a photo op right there. It was
How do you
fun.
feel about people just calling you Duggo? Do you like Doug?
You've
Well,
surrendered
it's
to it?
just different.
You didn't like it at first, for
Yeah.
sure, because it was kind of a making fun of him
Yeah.
for doing a Duggo, like when you used to get when he got stuck when they first started, and they were
Oh, I
always
gotcha.
getting stuck in the mud in the tractor,
Yep.
and so they pulled a Duggo.
Oh.
So it's a dumb thing. It's like, way to go,
Yeah,
Doug, kind of thing. And then it just
Well, then I
it
don't
caught
blame you.
on, and
Yeah, it like I say, I've survived my whole life without a nickname, but
his Instagram is Dodge Boy Doug, I think, or
I don't
something
know.
like that.
And then Larson Farms too.
And Chet's YouTube is Larson Farms,
Yeah.
Nice.
which I think that'll pop up right away when you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Cool.
we'd love to have new people. We're at, I don't know what we have for.
that's a
subs-
whole nother
subs.
conversation about why don't people subscribe?
They just watch.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal to hit the subscribe button. It doesn't
Doesn't
bother
cost you anything.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's easy.
I think part of it's our short attention span culture. People they jump from one thing to the next, and then once YouTube knows the algorithm, your stuff will pop up a lot of times, and so they just don't make the connection to subscribe.
Well, yeah, it's the thing about YouTube. It's like the subscribers are awesome, but it's all about the views at the end of the day,
Yeah.
True.
And it's
And
like,
I think Chet has a lot more views and subscribers.
Yes.
But I've always thought it's so strange that if you kind of watch regular, why don't you just subscribe? Because that is a very good. I mean, the more subscribers you can have, that just
Helps a
reflects a
lot.
lot
mhm,
better.
for sure.
But-
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys making the trip. It was a really great
Yeah,
conversation.
what a
We
neat-
had a lot of fun.
Thanks
we,
for the.
we actually made a wrong turn. We just stopped here for directions.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad we could provide some shelter for you for your little pit stop. But yeah, we appreciate it a lot. Go follow what these awesome people are up to, guys. If you got any value from the show, share it out with the people that you know. Leave a review on Spotify or Apple, and we'll see you back here next week for another episode.